SMR Podcast Network. You should be listening.
RWT family, SMR podcast listeners, finally more retro rewind for the fucking ear holes that you got there. WCW's FallBrawl, WarGames, September 15th, 1996, from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. For those who've been following along, you just probably listened to 3 episodes of professional wrestling squeezed into 1 hour of a review. And then now, bam, you are here at the pay-per-view, which is FallBrawl. And then after this episode, we're going to do just a regular basic Raw Nitro, which is the go-home show for Raw, of course, leading into In Your House Mind Games. So stay tuned for that. Mind Games and that episode both should drop on a Monday, and then we're right back on regular old, good old-fashioned just Raw Nitro for a few weeks. And then we have Halloween Havoc coming up for WCW. A lot of things going on, and Halloween Havoc is actually going to be a very, very big show. It's going to be like ridiculous, but we're not there yet. We are at FallBrawl right now. Let's get into it. Highlight video of the NWO attacks over the last few weeks, including the part where Luger's car got smashed up on a Saturday night. Dusty Rhodes joins Bobby the Brain Heenan and Tony Schiavone as they do every pay-per-view. This is the commentary team. Dusty talks about Sting joining the NWO. Heenan says that don't count out WCW and this could be NWO's last match. Schiavone talks about the attacks and explains that on Saturday night, NWO messed up Luger's car. Hence, when I had already said that. Thank you, Schiavone. So, grudge match. This is the first match to start us off. Grudge match versus DDP and Chavo Guerrero. And boy, howdy, was this a pretty good match. Chavo comes in with a house of fire. Dustin is calling the Diamond Cutter a wrestling hold, and I'm like, it's obviously not. Chavo throws DDP all over the place on the outside. Then Chavo has a belt out of nowhere and just starts whipping DDP. And Dustin says, "That's my homie right there." I laughed. Chavo works DDP's arm forever. During this time, Schiavone explains the entire feud, leading to the conclusion that DDP is a sore loser like every heel. Dusty says Chavo has him in a position to uncle him, aka make him tap out. DDP, my uncle right now. Who's like, you know what uncle means? And before Schiavone says it means give up, Heenan chimes in, uncle is the opposite of aunt. I don't know why I laughed. Probably way harder than I should, but I laughed. Chavo tries to drop kick DDP through the ropes, but he misses, crashes to the floor. DDP takes advantage and starts to choke him, and this dumb shit ref tells him that you're going to be counted out. And I'm like, what? Weren't they brawling all over the place to start it out, and you just fucking let it go? And all of a sudden, there's the possibility of this guy getting counted out? What the fuck? DDP takes control and he has Chavo in a chin lock and says that that's Eddie Guerrero's dad once got fired for 14 jobs in a week. And I'm like, Heenan, you're just a fucking moron, but fuck you for making me laugh. Chavo makes a comeback and hits a springboard clothesline, then a missile dropkick. DDP tries to steal a pin with his feet on the ropes, then throws Chavo into the next ring. And Schiavone brings up a great point. Normally, they have to move you back to the other ring, but because it's Nick Patrick is the lead ref, nobody gives a shit anymore, So DDP hits this big sit-out powerbomb on Chavo. And, like, when Chavo's coming down, he's, like, twisting. And I'm so afraid. And it looked like this poor bastard just slammed his, like, the side of his head, like, on the mat. And I'm like, ouch, that had to hurt a whole hell of a lot. And then he comes back to life somehow, some way. Tries this backslide. DDP shuts it down, hits a Diamond Cutter, picks up the victory. I gave it a 3.5. I said this was a really good opener. It didn't go too long. Very back and forth. Chavo looked impressive. He's been impressive. Not necessarily his entire run. He's had a couple of, I think he's had like one shit match so far on Nitro. But for the most part, it was pretty damn good. Can't wait for Eddie to get back, though. I'll tell you that much. And then we got the Harlem Heat, Colonel Parker, Rob Parker, and Sister Cher. I'm over like, what the fuck is his first name? Rob Parker. They're in the back, and they're like fucking with this CompuServe geek. They're like answering emails, and like this poor bastard, he's like, why do I have to deal with this shit? Well, you're getting paid by WCW. Shut the hell up. Apparently, the NWO invasion has been deemed the attack all of a sudden, and then Mean Gene covers it like it's an episode of Unsolved Mysteries. I did not want to go into detail with it because it was very long. Submission match, Ice Train versus Scott Norton. And my man Emir is walking Ice Train to the ring. Shivani says that the ref has a mic in his hand to say, you know, when one guy says that he quits, right? That's what they do in an I quit match. They have the ref has a mic, and he'll walk up to the dude and be like, all right, did you quit or whatever? And fucking, yeah. So Dazzy tries to say ventriloquist, and his accent is just so thick, it just comes out hilariously, and everybody on commentary is laughing. The match is super back and forth. It is a Haas match for sure. They're clobbering, smashing, throwing, and splashing. This is Norton has an armbar locked on. Amir is teasing about throwing the towel in. He doesn't, though. Ice Train tries to power out, but can't, so Norton, like, let him get up, and then they start fighting, and I'm like, okay, whatever. So Ice Train takes Norton down with a Fuyu armbar. I can't even say it. And then Dusty calls it a Japanese arm lock, and I'm like, you know what? That's better than me trying to fuck it up saying it, and I know you're not going to fuck it up saying it, so Ice Train tries a standing splash, but Norton got his knees up. Ice Train hits a leaping clothesline. Norton catches him. It's a spine buster right to hell. And like he fucking drove him right through the fucking mat. Locks in a deep ass Boston Crab, switches it to an armbar, but lets it go before Amir jumps on the apron, not once but twice. Norton grabs him, and then Ice Train locks in a full Nelson, starts wrenching him, and Norton forces him to tap. I gave it a 3. I said, not the best thing I've ever seen, but this is a lot better than their first match. I didn't think Ice Train had a submission to use, but this big, strong motherfucker locks it in and refused to let it go. I thought that was like, I did not expect Train to pick up the victory. That's for goddamn sure. AAA Mexican Heavyweight Championship on the line. Yes, that's right. The AAA Championship, the one that some had just seen. Well, I think it's a different belt, but a similar belt. The Kenny Omega defend. For those who did watch Triple Mania, I know I'm totally bringing in some regular with some retro. Conan, the champion, taking on Juventud Guerrera. And I was like, holy crap, AAA actually allowed their title to be on television outside of Mexico. I was like, that's pretty cool. So, Juvi damn near dies just walking to the ring because he falls over the steps and he's not looking. And I just bursted into hysteria. I could not help myself. Conan comes out to his old theme, even though he's all choloed out. And then Juvi gets thrown outside by Conan, springboard splash from both rings. Conan crashes and falls up with a suicide dive, and Conan's first up, throws Juvi into the guardrail, but Juvi springs off the guardrail, gets caught, gets powerbombed into the floor. Conan is fired up, yelling, Viva Las Mexico, and dumbass Jimmy Hart comes running around, and Viva La Raza, and I'm like, shut the fuck up, Jimmy Hart, you piece of shit. God, he like ruined it, and I was like, yeah, oh, you stupid whitey. You know, eventually we hear that all the time from Eddie Guerrero, by the way. I'm pretty sure it starts in WCW. I don't remember most of his WCW run. I'm just at the beginning of it. So, Conan is in total control because he's bigger and stronger than Juvi, obviously. Juvi springboards all over the place. Dusty says he's flipping and flopping. Conan looks dominant. He's thrown Juvi all over the place, hitting back-to-back German suplexes. He gets a near fall off of a missile dropkick, or Juvi does, excuse me. They battle on the apron. Juvi goes for a sunset flip powerbomb, but Conan punches his way free, hits a dropkick. Juvi hits a dropkick, sending him to the outside. Juvi backflips off the turnbuckle. You know, with Conan up there, I have no idea why. He's been doing this like all the time. He's like, all right, cool, like I've won the one-on-one battle up top, and now I can superplex you, but I'm going to backflip, haha. And you're like, the fuck? And that was exactly my thought. What the fuck? So he almost lands on his fucking head, though. That stupid dumb shit. Conan just kicks him, and then he ends up reversing it into just a cradle. Got a near fall. Hoovy hits a somersault leg drop from the second rope. Conan got his foot on the rope. Follows up with a 450 splash. Got his knees up. This thing goes forever. Conan then hits his razor's edge into a powerbomb off the top turnbuckle for the win. And then, so he came out with this, like, the regular kind of poppy-ish, whatever, music. And then he fucking leaves with the Dungeon of Doom's music. And I'm like, what? I, like, fucking totally threw me for a loop. I thought I was watching WWF with Mankind going on. Like, what the fuck's going on? I gave it 2 3/4. I said, Hoovy is like the sloppiest high flyer ever, but it looks cool in 96. You know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, dude, stop doing this, dude. Like, you look bad. It looks terrible. Looks like I'm trying to do it. Yeah, it's terrible. I can't. But Conan is a weird dude. Whatever. I said, I never knew he was in the Dungeon of Doom, and all of a sudden he just fucking, all of a sudden he pulls out every move just to beat a guy. Like, that's his gimmick, though. He pulls out every single move he has in the bag. This next match I absolutely loved. And it's not just because it had Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho in it, but because maybe it is. Maybe it is. Don't judge me. Chris Jericho versus Chris Benoit. A little more than a year prior to this show, you would have seen this match on New Japan Pro Wrestling. Guaranteed. And I'm sure it was just as awesome. It's a hot-ass start. Benoit's on fire. I could tell already this is going to be good. It goes on for a bit. Jericho knocks Benoit outside the ring, comes in with a back elbow off the second rope. Jericho is just too close to the apron when he does this, because he's like, okay, so he's jumping to the outside, right? And so he's on the second rope, so if they're on the apron, so they got to the second rope. Benoit's on the outside. He goes to hit him with his, inside. He doesn't, dive to the outside and hit him with, his, you know what I mean? No. He just was like, oh, I see the gap in between the fucking apron and Chris Benoit. I'm going to land there. And he just, and damn near caught his arm on the apron, and he's fucking sitting there, selling it. And I'm like, what the hell, dude? I don't know if you hurt Benoit more. I don't know if you hurt yourself more. Jesus Christ. Well, anyway, they end up somehow getting back into the ring. They have a strike exchange that Jericho somehow wins with a back kick, and Benoit takes the hardest unforced bump you've ever seen. The whole fucking ring shook. Benoit fights back and is able to hit a diving headbutt, but he overshoots it to the point where it looks more like a splash than a headbutt. I was like, I'm not bagging on him. I'm just saying Jericho was halfway across the ring, and you know what I mean? So as Benoit was beating on Jericho, he yells, "You want to be famous?" And I was like, meaning if he beats him, it'll make him famous because he's a horseman, you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe. The horseman beating your ass is a famous thing, I guess. And Jericho starts to make a comeback, including a couple near falls, hitting a snap pile driver. Looked absolutely awesome. Follows up with the top rope Hurricane Rana. Benoit pushes Jericho as he's trying to jump up onto the turnbuckle. It crotches him ends up crotching him. So he goes to leap up on it to save himself, and he's like, well, fuck you, and bam, crotch right on the turnbuckle. Benoit takes advantage, hits a top rope back suplex, high angle back suplex, might I add, because he fucking ouch, and killed the poor bastard and picked up the win. I gave it a 4. I said this whole entire thing was great. This was a 1990s New Japan match on WCW. Jericho looked absolutely awesome. Benoit just looked a little bit better. Just a little bit. WCW Cruiserweight Championship match. Rey Mysterio versus Super Calo. So for a Cruiserweight title match, it's got a slow start. A little bit of mat wrestling, a little bit of lucha. Some dude in the crowd is just not happy as he yells boring. And I'm like, you shut the fuck up, man. The match all of a sudden speeds up, and Rey sends Calo outside with a head scissors takedown. Just notice Calo's knees, knee pads, are legit knee pads. They're if you were a skateboarder and you needed knee pads, and they were legit. So I'm like, if you fucking hit me with those, dude, I'm gonna punch you in the face. That's just me. As Rey is down, Calo just headbutts him like a total dick. And then he knocks Rey out of the ring, hits a missile dropkick, follows up with a senton to a downed Rey Mysterio. Some jackass in the crowd is like, he was waiting for that. I'm like, dude, sometimes I really fucking hate fans. They copy almost every other match tonight, fighting in the other side of the ring, because apparently it doesn't fucking matter. Callow hits a twisting head scissor takedown, then continues to work on the arm of Mysterio. Callow uses a lot of submissions to keep Mysterio grounded. Then Shivani points out that Callow's knee pads, and I'm like, dude, you're fucking late, bro. Like, I noticed this motherfucking shit like minutes into this bitch. Then Mysterio tries to crossbody Callow over the rope, but he can't get him over, so Randy Johnson, the ref, is like, fuck this, I'm going to get him over. And he gets involved and helps him go over. Mysterio goes for his finish, but Callow dropkicks him out of midair. They battle on the apron. Mysterio bounces his legs off the ropes, catches Callow with a Hurricane Rana onto the floor, then follows up with a baseball slide and then a senton. They battle back and forth. Callow misses a missile dropkick, catches his legs on the rope, basically dumps himself on his own head. Mysterio decides to use both rings, like jumps from one ring or from off of one set of ropes to the other set of ropes, and then hits the Hurricane Rana into the deep cradle for the win. I gave it a 4. I said, very good match. Callow is really dang good. I said, I wonder how long he hangs around. When I first saw him, and I was like, this dude is supposedly named after a Mexican group, and he's got this fucking mask that has a goddamn, what's the fucking weird-ass hat on it, and a fucking, the goddamn glasses. Like, the shit's, like, integrated. I thought it was like he was just wrestling with glasses. It's like, no, that's his mask. I have no idea how long this guy's around. Probably, hopefully a long time, because he was very impressive. WCW World Tag Team Championship match. Harlem Heat defending against the Nasty Boys. And here's the first. The Nasty Boys are actually having a wrestling match. No brawling. Like an actual, regular tag match. Nasty Boys get the double team on Stevie Ray, and Dusty is going crazy saying they're clobbering. Heenan says World Clobbering Wrestling. And I'm like, what in the fuck is going on? The Nasty Boys are in control to start it out. Knobbs grabs Booker and threatens to put his face in Sag's pits. And I'm like, is that even legal? Probably is. It's gross as hell, but I'm sure it's legal. Thanks to Sister Sherry causing a distraction, he's able to regain the control. Sags tries to jump in the ring to get Booker T off his partner, but the ref tackles him, and I'm just like, okay, that's a bit excessive. Knobbs goes after Sherry, but Booker makes the save. Sag almost gets her, but she escapes. The ref sees her run through the ring, does absolutely nothing, and I yell, do your job, bud. Sags gets the hot tag. He takes out Booker, then Stevie Ray hits a power slam on Booker. He grabs Sherry, throws her in the ring. Booker tried to grab him, but it gets turned into a near fall roll-up by Sags, and then he hits a pile driver right afterwards. Heenan screams, they're using a hold, and I'm like, bro, that is not a fucking hold, for crying out loud. Sags climbs the turnbuckle. I have no idea why. Rob Parker interferes by knocking Sags off the top turnbuckle, sending him crashing onto the mat, and then he rolls out onto the floor. Booker rolls him back in. He gets the near fall off a scissors kick. Sags rolls outside and allows Sherry to land all kinds of kicks before he gets thrown back in the ring. Knobbs gets another hot tag, and they hit the nasty splash, but Stevie breaks it up. The Nasty Boys hit their finisher. Colonel Parker causes a distraction. Sherry slides in, hits Knobbs with a cane, which leads to Booker getting the pin. I said I gave it a 3 1/4. It's probably the best thing I've seen from the Nasty Boys. Harlem Heat is a great heel tag team. Colonel Parker and Sherry drive me absolutely nuts, but I guess that just means they're doing their jobs. I still fucking hate them. They piss me off. They piss me off. They drive me batty, insane, crazy. Mike Tenay is in the back with Savage. He brings up how Savage was at one point hated, and now he is the hero. Savage comes in wearing a Nitro shirt and says, we gotta stop the universe and flip it upside down. Then so be it. Isn't it ironic that the evil necessity of WCW, comes to the plate, and I'm going to hit a grand slam against the Giant? He talks about beating the Giant and going on to Hogan, and he says he's going to rip his black heart out of his chest. Then says, at this moment in time, I'm thinking I'm going to cut the Giant in half, and it'll be the message to the NWO that the Macho Man and the WCW will not be denied. Ooh, yeah! I love the Macho Man, who was just absolutely out of his fucking mind. So, it's Savage and Giant. It's supposed to be a grudge match, so pretty much anything goes, right? No DQ. Giant comes out to NWO music. Savage is just chomping at the bit to get to the Giant, so Giant drags Savage out of the ring. He takes Savage down. They brawl all over the floor. Nick Patrick is the ref, so I was like, I know there's going to be some fucking, everybody says he's on the NWO payroll, and I'm like, I can already feel some fuckery going to happen. Giant uses a big backbreaker and a bear hug to keep Savage at bay. Savage makes a comeback, attacking the knee, hits a facebuster off the top rope, then a scoop slam, which, drove everybody nuts, because he's a giant, and he just fucking scoop slammed him like nothing. The crowd popped huge. I kind of popped huge. I was like, well, that could have been a bigger spot. Anyway, that's when Hogan shows up, just to lead Savage into the back, where the outsiders are waiting to jump him. They wear him out with a chair, and then they carry him back to the ring, and that's when I see Nick Patrick not do a fucking thing, because, he's trying to explain the difference between 2 and 3 to the Giant, so the Giant's like, so this is how I get it's like, I gotta count to 3, it's not 2, and they're having a legitimate discussion. They put him in the ring, and the Giant gets the pin, and I'm like, this is bullshit. I gave it a 1.5 stars. I said, I was really liking Savage's comeback. I said the place was going absolutely fucking bananas for it. And then Hogan, Hall, and Ash show up, and it was all downhill from there, and I mean straight the fuck downhill. Halloween Havoc promo, October 27th. That's when Halloween Havoc is coming. And then we get to the main event, the meat and potatoes. The meat potatoes. The WarGames match. Lex Luger, Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, and their unknown partner against the NWO and their unknown fourth man. So it's going to be Hogan, Hall, and Ash, and an unknown fourth man. So WarGames is kind of like a giant brawl, and you only win via submission or surrender. I believe it's actually just surrender, truth be told, but whatever. Submission, I guess, as well. Tanea's in the back with the Horseman and Luger. Flair says, Sting or no Sting? We are ready. Can you hear the ambulances? They're coming for the NWO. Tonight, the Horsemen are going to kick ass. Arn says, Luger, you lost a friend. We lost a partner. WCW lost an icon. But the fact of the matter is, if you want something done right, you were a Horseman once. We got to do it ourselves. Sting or no Sting? And then all of a sudden, Sting shows up and fucking just walks in all fucking nonchalant like it's no big fucking spiel. And Luger looks at him, he says, make it short and sweet. Sting swears, he's like, that wasn't me on Monday night. Luger says, I looked you right in the face before you cheap-shotted me. And Stinger, I know it was you. And I can't believe it was you. And I don't believe you. Sting says, if you don't believe me, then fine. You'll see me soon. Flair calls Luger a lean, mean wrestling machine and says, tonight we walk the aisle. Michael Buffer is out to make the announcements, including the rules. Buffer announces the name of each participant and then tells us that each team's fourth man is a surprise. So Scott Hall, Arn are the first two to start it out. Arn actually started I believe he started pretty much every WarGames match they've been in, if not most of them. So he gets the upper hand, and Dusty and Heenan are going nuts. Dusty says he can't believe that he's cheering for Double A. Arn chop blocks Hall, and he starts working over his knee. Nick Patrick is telling Arn, I can call it right now, Arn. And I'm like, no, you can't. Everyone needs to be in the ring first, you dipshit. I fucking can't stand Nick Patrick. And I'm like, whatever. And then the lovely commentary agrees with me, and I'm like, hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Heenan thinks Patrick is making up the rules as he goes, and I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised. Shivani informs us that the NWO has the advantage, so out comes Nash. DiBiase is ringside now. Hall and Nash are just destroying Arn. Luger comes in 15 seconds early, and Nick Patrick doesn't care, so fuck it. Why should I? Luger is just manhandling Hall and Nash. Hogan comes in. Luger and Arn are all over the outsiders. Until Hogan, of course, comes in and the numbers change. Luger is being double teamed while Hogan goes after Arn. Flair hits the ring, and the only guy who waits until the time is up, once he hits the ring, he begs Hogan to get to the other ring, and so they can go one-on-one. After a couple of punches, Flair gets a gimmick from McTrunch and starts laying in shots and then low blows to every member of the NWO. Now the fourth man is fake Sting. I knew right off the bat. The second you heard his crappy howl, and then you catch a glimpse of just the worst splashes you've ever seen. I was like, I know this ain't the real Sting, but again, maybe in 96, I'd have been like, oh my God, it's Sting, but I know now. And then for WCW, out comes the real Sting. Dusty is going crazy. Sting hits the ring, and it's real Sting versus fake Sting, and he just is like, what's good, bro? What's happening, bro? And he he takes him out, shows the world how to do real Stinger splashes. Sting lays everyone out, looks at the WCW guys, and says, is that proof enough? Is that good enough for you? Then he tells them to stick it, and he heads to the back, and you could just feel a mood change in the entire arena. So then all of a sudden, the NWO swarms. Fake Sting has the Scorpion Deathlock applied to Luger, and Hogan comes in with this like crossface, and Luger surrenders, and the NWO have won. So they also get like a new TV segment and all this other shit that they were from. Anyway, I gave it a 3.5. I said, I've seen better WarGames matches, but this one wasn't bad by any means. You know, it's a WarGames match. So Luger is crawling up the ramp, begging for Sting. Then the NWO go after him. All of a sudden, Savage appears out of nowhere. He goes right after Hogan, but then the Giant is just lurking behind him like a big creep. They destroy Savage. At one point, Elizabeth comes down. She tries to make the save. She's covering up Savage because, you know, I don't know why. And they end up spray painting NWO on her back. They pose together, you know. The fans hate them more and more as they just like, I don't know, they're just gaining heat, you know what I mean? They're just sitting there flexing, being dicks, talking shit, you know, gaining as much heat as possible. All of a sudden, they decide that they're just going to beat the shit out of Savage some more, and they spray paint him too. It's going on and on. The heat is just building. They storm the commentary table and take it over. DiBiase says their demands need to be met. And then the show goes off the air as we see Savage being helped to the back. I really enjoyed this show. This was a very easy watch for me. This was one of those shows where I feel like you could turn it on today. You could have fun watching it, especially the Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho match, especially the Cruiserweight Championship match. And I'm sure more than a few friends of mine would enjoy the submission match between Ice Train and Scott Norton. It was a Haas match. And DDP and Chavo was good. I mean, it was a good card with a decently good main event. So with that being said, I give it a 2 thumbs up. I absolutely loved it. I don't care what nobody says. My wrestler of the night is Chris Benoit because he is just the absolute freaking man. I mean, he's got to be next in line to be in my Hall of Awesome. For those who don't know of the Hall of Awesome is for men who have just stood out the test of time and just shown absolute greatness. And right now, the only man that's a part... No, I think I have 2. The only 2 men that are a part of the Hall of Awesome right now are Sting and Arn Anderson. Yeah, I mean, Flair's getting there. He's getting there. I'm waiting for his promos to get better. I'm sure they're going to get there. But right now, I had no idea that Arn... I knew Arn was a good promo. Let me stop that. I knew Arn was a good promo. I had no idea they let him be that good of a promo in 96 kind of shit. You know what I mean? I've always seen him as the background guy because I think he actually retires in 96 or 97. So the end of Arn Anderson's career, unfortunately, might be coming soon. Anyway, that's tonight's show. I will still allow you guys to vote on Wrestler of the Week. However, I already have my choice. So still fan voted. Just letting you know how I feel. The votes will go up. I will give some nominees right now. Let's go DDP, Chavo Guerrero, Sting, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, and Rey Mysterio. You know what? Super Callow. I'm giving you 7 options. It's going to go on the Facebooks. Make sure you're getting in your votes. Make sure you're following us there. Make sure you're checking out Bolt Rant for you football fans out there. You're going to get some in-depth stuff, especially if you want some just draft news, pretty much. So it's going to stuff going down like that. And, of course, make sure to catch Max Wrestling every fucking Thursday. Yeah, I said it like that, every fucking Thursday. Because if you're not taking it to the max on every Thursday, I don't know what the hell you're doing with your life. You need to get on that train. Hitting over 10K for the 300th episode. If you're not on that train, if you have not caught the Max Wrestling 300 episode anniversary show extravaganza, bro, you not living life. And I need you to start living life. So, Make sure you're following us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, SMRPodNet, and you can catch us on all your favorite streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, that's still kind of sort of around. Or maybe you have a specific podcasting platform that you like listening to. Hit that search bar, type in Smart Mark Radio, and I guarantee you'll find us in all of the glory that is Smart Mark Radio. And of course, like I was saying earlier, check out Max Wrestling, maxwrestling.weebly.uk, or no, pause, maxweebly.net. That's what it is, maxwrestling.weebly.net. Check us out again every Thursday on that. Stuff from me, stuff from Boat Rant. We're just going bananas around here. I appreciate y'all listening. Make sure you're voting. That's what gets this cool song playing at the end. I appreciate y'all. Have a great Monday. Peace out.
SMR Podcast Network.